I think for me personally, when I've been in a bad place, sometimes I'll set myself the tiniest goal of, I'm going to journal one sentence. I'm going to write like 2 words. Like, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Something really, really simple, but and it seems trivial almost, but it really does get that ball rolling and get that domino effect happening.
Yeah.
To where maybe tomorrow I could reach out and call someone, or maybe in a week I could do therapy if that's my thing.
It's these little steps, and it's another little tip which I'm a big fan of is if you have an inner dialogue. So like, I'll argue with myself. You'll call, oh, you silly, blah blah blah. Your brain believes what you're saying. So if you have a negative internal voice, which mine is very negative, I've come to terms with I can't become friends with him, but I'll disagree with what he says. If you vocalize something that you are internally thinking, your brain hears it from a separate part. So if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm no good, I'm no this, I'm no that, vocalize it. Go to a mirror, go to your friend and say it. And your brain hears it from a different part. And for me, when I learned that helped me, because I'd be getting told, oh, you're silly, you're not doing it, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd say it and I'd go, no, I'm not, hold on a minute. And that made me realize. So there is little tips and tricks that people pick up along the way that you might not know that help. So like, getting out of bed, making your bed in the morning. I know I'm a typical person. I'll get on my phone and just doom scroll for a bit. Just try and break that habit, and these small steps will, the domino effect. It does. It builds up massively. So yeah, as you say, that two words, or that small walk, or just making your bed may seem trivial, but the next day you'll make your bed and write a full sentence, and the next day you leave your house, and it's these little steps, just ease your brain back into it, stress-free.
I think it's especially important because maybe those first few steps don't involve talking to other people, which could be good for some people at the start, right? Because they're so ashamed. There's many things you can do which are self-care just for you, and no one has to know about it, right? No one has to read your journal, anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I know it's easy for me to say talk. If you don't want to talk, that is fine. Just make sure you're becoming friends with the person in your head. If you want to stay on your own, that can be fine if you are able to develop on your own. Because for me, it's like I was trying to use the brain to fix the brain. I needed that third party just to help me just pull some bits apart. And then I could take a step back and continue self-development. With a lot of people I talk to, there's a couple of people who I now don't hear from, and it's great. Because when I check in with them and say, like, is everything all good? Mate, fine, I'm doing this, that and the other. And that for me is job done. If I don't hear from them anymore, and I've checked in and they say they're good, then they are back on their feet, they're talking, they're back at work, whatever. And that to me is just everything. So that is what happens when you take these small steps. It's just consistency. And also, if you can't do that, don't beat yourself up. Give yourself an hour, give yourself 10 minutes, just breathe, do whatever it is you want to do. If that is lie down, 5 minutes, but don't allow yourself to make that all day.
Right.
It's having some sort of a bit of self-discipline, which can be tough. Again, you're using your brain to fix your brain, so it's very difficult. It's like an out-of-body experience, but just, allow yourself to breathe for a second. Don't pressure yourself.
Yeah, something that came to mind when you were speaking about that is I think a lot of the messaging we receive on social media as men, probably everyone as well, but especially as men, is this kind of hustle culture of, doing the things you're saying, but to an extreme degree.
Yeah.
Right? So being so disciplined that you're never stopping, right? And so unconsciously we're starting to build these ideals of this person that we should be. And it's weird because it's almost the same message that you're saying of have a bit of discipline and stuff, but it's seems like this mountain that you can't really climb. And
unachievable.
It's almost why even try?
It's
just so crazy.
And I think that's a big thing with nowadays is we wake up, we look at our phone, and I've seen he's got a Lamborghini, she's in Florida, he's on the moon, and you think, oh, I'm just in bed. And that's the problem with instantly looking at your phone is social media is very good for people being like, oh, look at me, which is great when you're in that mood, but if you're not, and it's just bringing you down, that's why I'll say take a break from it. Anyone that is making you feel bad on social media, why are you looking at their account? Block, remove, move on. It's yours. It shouldn't be. If we have our phones in our hands 24/7, if anything, an account or anything is getting you down or making you question your own life, get rid. That's my advice, because people have this like, oh, I need to this, I need. No, you don't. If it's upsetting you, get rid of it to a degree, because yeah, the problem is that everyone's just too busy looking at other people's routines and life, and sometimes, obviously, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. But if you're in that sort of depressive state, and then, like you say, you look at this and think, well, I can't even get out of bed. I'm not going to be able to have oats at 7 in the morning and go to the gym at 10 and all this. It's just not, it's not good. So what I did with some of it was, apart from removing those people, was reset your algorithm. Start adding positive people on Instagram. There are people that post positive messages, or for me it was, there's a great ADHD channel, there's a great like depression help channel, and they just post little tips to help you go throughout the day. And that's what I see when I wake up now. Not matey boy in his Lamborghini throwing money at people.
Right.
And it's everything you digest nowadays is having an effect. So be aware of that, you know.
I think this is the double-edged sword when it comes to social media, right? And that's something that I've struggled with. I think my initial reaction was to try to get rid of it completely or abstain as much as I can.
Okay.
But now I think I'm actually in a bit of a more balanced place. Like you say, I think I've like engaged with enough positive content that's mostly what I'll see now.
Good.
Me and my friend call it Happy Gram.
Nice. Yeah, that's what you want.
Just happy stuff.
That's what we need.
But yeah, I think it's difficult when you're just living by default, I suppose, or not being conscious about your use of social media, because me having this attitude of like, oh, just get rid of it all, like I do kind of miss out on some stuff that could be inspiring, and like, you know, I can connect with people like you and talk to people.
I think social media has a place. It's used for the wrong thing. Like, I love the fact that my dad of 60 can randomly message someone from his school that he's not seen. That's what I thought it was going to be cool for, being like, oh, did you go to so-and-so school in 1960 or whatever it was? Yeah, I did. And they connect. That's what I liked about social media. Instagram is very much a tool for promotion, but people are using it to promote themselves in maybe like an egotistical way. I've done that, you know. I was all, look at me at the gym, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't, it's sort of like a false love, really. Like, posting stuff now that people interact with, that then leads on to an hour conversation and gets them sort of on a better health spectrum, means more to me than trying to flash my pretend six-pack, or like, I've bought this or I've done that. Like, and I think people use it for the wrong sense. If you're using it for, you know, business and promotion and things like this, it's great. It does have a place for downtime, you know. You can scroll and have, you know, on your lunch break, for example, you've got 15 minutes to have a scroll and talk to your friends. I get that. But there is that double-edged sword of, if you come away from it totally, you're then almost isolated to a point where you miss out on events, you don't know what's going on. And it is that sort of tough balance, because technology's sort of gone like this, and humans haven't done this. We're at this point now where we are trying to catch up with this technology. We've not caught up with social media. We've now got AI, and our little monkey brains are like, what's going on, you know? So it is tough to be in this sort of generation. You've just got to be aware of the tools that are available and realise they can be put down, and also they can be changed. You know, if it takes you an hour or a full day to go through and remove every account that bugs you and add all these positive ones, or reset everything, it's worth it, because you spend every day looking at it, you know?
That's true. I suppose that all that negative power can be used in a positive way, right? Because it is 100%. Such an amazing tool.
Yes.
Technology in general. But it's requiring us to be more and more conscious of that process, because I think the initial use case that you described of, like, you know, your dad finding an old friend on Facebook or Instagram, that was the feeling that I had on Facebook in like 2008, 2007, you know, like, it's this place where people are actually connecting, like, that's the main purpose. Whereas now the feed and the reels are so much a part of it, and, you know, can be good, like we said, but it's a much different landscape than it was.
Yeah, I think before as well, it was more like, from what I remember, because I don't have Facebook anymore, it was a case of your newsfeed was the people you'd added. So it was she's birthday and it's his this, and that's all I saw. Whereas now it's things that it thinks I want to see. So because there was an incident in this place and I looked at that video, it now thinks I want to see those incidents everywhere. And with everything going on in the world that isn't that nice, sometimes that isn't what you want to see. And also just so you know, Instagram has now released a thing so you can reset your algorithm. So things like this, like just look up the tools. If you're finding yourself on your phone a lot and you're unhappy a lot, there is a correlation there. What are you using? What are you doing on it? I'm a bugger for doom scrolling. You know, and I'm not even looking at it, but you are subconsciously taking all that stuff in, so be aware of it. And I think the more the world continues, hopefully there will be maybe some sort of curriculum involved, you know, from school, because we use it every day, ICT mentality or some sort of thing, because it has such a profound effect. We should be teaching from early the tools, the worries, the signs, you know. It's like medicine, it has to have there's a good side and a bad side. If you use it too much, this can happen. And I think that is the same with technology. And we need this awareness for the next generation. Otherwise, it won't be very good.
Well, I hope that if people are depressed and they're doom scrolling, they can come across your channel.
Fingers crossed.
And,
that's the hope.
Maybe get a little bit of positivity going in their life.
Yes, hopefully.
Was there anything else that you wanted to cover, Josh?
For me, I would just say, thank you for having me. If you're coming to Thailand, just do a little bit of research on the culture, where you're going, gestures, things like this, because it goes so far and you will get a completely different experience of Thailand if you respect the culture and the people. And secondly, if you're struggling, if you're feeling down, one, it will pass, and do not make lifelong decisions on temporary feelings. That's my final thought.
Thank you very much, Josh.
Cheers, man.
And where can people reach you?
The Friendly Farang, all one word, on Instagram. That's it for now, yeah. Hopefully soon there'll be YouTube and everything else.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Cheers.